Okay, let's jump into it. First one, 3881.9, a little waterfall base. Now, it's got a decent amount of foundation space. You do need to think about what you actually want, because it is hidden, providing you don't build a big base. Now, as you can see, the pros and cons of this base is it's hidden, clearly. Space for a small tribe, not a large tribe. It's out of the way, so people shouldn't really be coming your way. And it's near structures, so people will see the structure and think it's part of the natural structures. Not 100% of the time, but it helps. Obviously the cons, raiders will look for waterfall bases. It's on their list of what to check. It's hard to balance defense and hidden. And as it says, more turrets, more type of defense rail things to keep people out, the more chance you're going to be raided. Now, as you can see, you can't see the foundations at all. So it's a good little spot. Now, next one, 31.1, 33.1, 91.6. As you can see, another good large base foundations. Now, this one is a bit interesting because you shouldn't go there unless you are going to this location. So it eliminates a lot of people that might raid you. As you can see, there's no real resource for anyone to come down, except for some crystals, I believe, and some metal I've seen around, but not enough for making it worth the trip. As I said, very, very hidden. And this, you can have a small or a large tribe, providing you actually build your defenses. Now, it's out of the way, so only experienced raiders or admin are going to find you. And as I said, it's a large area, so death walls, very positive thing to do. Whether they're vertical death walls, horizontal death walls, layered death walls, it's all up to you. But hard to grab early game because there is nothing near as far as allowing you to hold that spot if someone really wants it. And then needs 3 to 4 people for an online raid, because anyone rocks up, they're going to have enough to actually try to soak, maybe do some death runs. But 3 to 4 people should be able to hold this off quite easily, providing you have good defenses. Now, as you'll see, it's very out of the way. You actually do have to deliberately go there. This is a bit of an odd one that people wouldn't look at. 81.8, 66.1. As you can see, low graphics, I can see a bit more. Most people don't play on low graphics like I do. A lot of PvP and YouTubers do. That's the only land avenue. And obviously the hole in the roof is the only air access. But you don't actually need to go there. As it says in the pros, people do not need to go there. There is nothing you can get there that you can't get anywhere else. It's not along the road to anything. So, the pros are quite self-explanatory. Now, the cons, you're going to be raided because of where you are. But the better your materials and the better your base build is, the less people that are going to be willing. You will have to defend, but it's possible that you can defend. And as it says, does require early grind if you want to hold this spot. And as you can see, it really isn't near anything. Now, spoiler alert, this one's a little more dangerous. 89.6 and 94.9. This is one of those ones you pick because other people won't want to be there. It's a big location, good little hidey spot with that wall. Downside is we're near the world border. That's the edge of the cliffs. But as you can see, wide open space, you see people coming for miles. And the pros are quite self-explanatory. Like the other one, no need for people to be there. If they're there, you might want to shoot them. Or do something because they're clearly scouting and they'll probably come back. Room for breeding, clearly, but as you saw, there are meat eaters. You want to cover your breeding area very well. Now, the cons, at least once a week, tribes will go along the border and their selected paths of raiding and try to find weak bases. They do not try to take on strong bases. They try to take on weak bases. Now, this is a larger spot, so better for bigger tribes. If you're small, you'll want even more of a grind and probably should be on like modded server. On official, you'll probably get raided within a day or so if you're only a duo or trio. You could as a trio or a quartet, but you probably want to be a bigger mob. And I have no idea what happened to that one. I didn't shoot it. Nothing. Ark's just weird sometimes. But as you can see, nice wide open area. Pretty much every dino you want, but sharp teeth. Now this one is a bit different. 42.9, 85.4. We are, once I figure out how to get there, you'll probably know that spot just by looking at that. Obviously near Greenob. Now, this is a challenge, but good for Alpha Tribe once, because it is a very large area for you to build your base. Very defendable if you are large enough to defend it, because there are multiple defensive platforms where you can just hold people down and they're going to take hours to try to get past you. And then this is a nice little front door, back door, depending on how you build bases. But the cons do slightly outrank the pros in this one, because it is mainly a base for alphas or a smaller tribe looking for a real good challenge, because it's big enough for breeding, defendable platforms, a lot of areas for death walls, raid blocking areas. Just make their lives hard to even get up those stairs. They'll probably try to come through that opening right there. So you'll probably defend where I'm flying over now more than any other point. Now the cons, obviously, as I said, large tribe is required. The grinding is non-stop. You will grind from start to finish until you get wiped or the server gets wiped. Because if you're on official or something, it's until you get wiped. If you're on modded, it's until either you get wiped or the server gets wiped. And if you don't get wiped, then you'll probably be the alphas. And it is a well-known spot because it is a landmark. Now, like any server, the tough guys will come looking and try to prove they're tough. They'll cheap shot you, they'll attack, they'll just be a nonsense and very toxic. That is going to happen. Regardless of whether you're nice, mean, they will come after you. And larger tribes looking for alpha will try to wipe you. So you are actively going to need to play. It is pretty much for alphas.